we also have another guest here, and this came out of one of our last conversations. And one of the prior things is that one of the cool things about natural wine is the labels and the art. So natural wine tends to have a little hipper, fun, just more branded labels rather than what we normally associate with the stuffy old like wine labels that are more about AOC and all of that. So we actually have the designer of this label here. Marta designed this label for Brock Cellars. So everybody give Marta a little round of applause or welcome.
Who's Marta? Who's Marta?
So yeah. So you can also use the reactions.
Hi.
The reactions on Zoom here. So really happy. Like one of my goals is also to bring, people talked about, mentioned listening to vinyls. So like there's a huge correlation between vinyl records and natural wine bars, and so, but also just the art of natural wine and bringing art community back into this community of local producers, things made handcrafted, done the right way. So I'm really happy to start bringing artists into the conversation. I often think that the art is overlooked. People choose their wine mostly based on the label. So I'm happy to welcome Marty here to talk about just a little bit about the design of this label, what her approach is to design, and where you can find some of her other work. So Marta, I'm going to turn it over to you.
Okay. Well, I'm an artist and an architect by education. So, and I always wanted to do a wine label, but I mostly just did fine art drawings, and that's how I met Chris and Bridget. And I think that was about 10 years ago now. And I think when they it took a while to buy a drawing, but when they finally did, my computer wasn't working, so I wrote my invoice. And they're like, wow, your handwriting is incredible. Would you consider doing a wine label for us? And I'm like, yeah, I would love to do that. So it started, our relationship started that way. That was like just a handwritten label. And then now I've done over 30 different labels for them. And they've become these little canvases of my artwork. And instead of it being a graphic design project, it's really been about this organic process about, what we're feeling about the wine, or if somebody, one of us has some inspirations kind of come out that way. So it's just been this great relationship and friendship that we've just cultivated over this last 10 years. And so it's really fun. And I don't do much, in terms of graphic design for other companies. It's mostly just Chris and Bridget. And then, and then I do my larger scale drawings, primarily, but I love the little canvas.
That's super cool. So Leah has a question for Marta. Leah, take yourself off mute. What's your question?
Oh, I was just wondering if you drank the wine to inspire yourself for the design and when you do the artwork.
Yeah, and we've done like every, now that I'm they're all handwritten, so every year they have to be updated by hand. So sometimes in the beginning I don't get to try the wine, and it's more about thoughts from Chris. And then as the wine, as I get to try it over the years, the labels have developed too. So it's inspired by words or inspired by tasting. And yes, I drink the wine.
Yeah. So what I really like about this label too is that it's almost this inspired by a certain font you've used before, or have you created your own font here?
Yeah, that's my handwriting. So I've just been using that. That's owned now, I think, by Chris and Bridget.
It's super cool because it looks almost like it looks like a professional typed up font, because all of the letters, all the H's are the same, like all the small loops are in the height, that there's height to it.
Well, it's like that's why I brought in the architectural training, because I did train and hand letter, and so I have that kind of rigorous background, and it's become my own thing. And I've tried actually to make a typeface out of it for the computer, so it would make this whole process just a little easier. And there's something that's beautiful just about the handwritten nature of how things change and just little tweaks, and it just doesn't look right, on the computer. So it's all, it's all just unique per label.
Yeah, and I don't know if you can see, she does, this is kind of like one of the, similar to the first drawing, I think, that we got for the tasting room, the large art piece. So I think it kind of shows just kind of like a lot of the hand detail that goes into it. So yeah, you can't have too much to drink or too much caffeine or anything to kind of do this, because there's a lot of lines and
yeah, I celebrate after.
Yeah, no, that's fantastic. So Marta, where can we find your other artwork? Do you have a website?
Yeah, I do. You can find me through the Brock website. There's
Okay,
a link
cool.
on there, so that's the easiest way.
All right.
And I'm updating.
What's the link? What's the link? I'll put it in the recap email.
What's the link, Chris? Is it just Brock?
I think it's just martajohansen.com, right? Or
Oh,
ours
my
is
website.
brocksellers.com.
Yeah, if you go to
Right.
Brock Sellers, there's a label artist
All right.
thing.
Yeah, it's right at the bottom of the website.
I will definitely find it. Okay.
And then my Instagram handle is just my full name that you see on the screen there on Instagram. So, and I update that regularly.
Yeah, I'm actually quite happy that you do it by hand, because I think it's consistent with the brand of the wine, harvested by hand, made by hand, everything by hand. It's very consistent with it. So, and you're right, there's something that's very, elegant and simple about it, that's really appeals to me.
Yeah, and I mean, a lot of my work is inspired by nature, and so this is a good collaboration that we make sense together.
Yeah, and I'm not sure if I can put my finger on it completely, but there's just something about Marta's artwork that just goes so well with the wines. It just seems to work. Like visually, I think you get a sense of what's inside the bottle by looking at the bottle, and I think that's kind of something that's kind of hard to come by sometimes. So it gives people, I think, a visual a clue to what they're about to buy or about to drink, and it just seems to work just great with us. And Marta even did some of these cans for us too, which are a lot of fun as well.